Hello, everybody. Anthony Crane here with Pocket Coach. Today's topic is one I'm fairly excited about. I know I say that about a few of my topics. This one, again, is not a skill video. This one is more of a thought video. But the thought is, if your goal is agile, you've already failed. There's a lot of talk about is agile dead. I'm seeing all these posts about it. But this particular thought, I have been talking about for at least 5 years, maybe more. So let me start my timer and let's get into it. If your goal is agile, you've already failed. So what does that mean? It's a very controversial statement considering I'm an agile coach, right? Agile is not a goal. And when I get hired into a company and they tell me, why I'm there, it's often, oh, you're here to help us do agile. And I'm like, that's not a good goal, right? Agile is a strategy. And if you've seen my ghost video, which is one of my other videos I've made, where I talk about what strategy is and how it works and the ghost framework, and you can see that here mentioned. But basically, it's a strategy. It's how we want to use our resources to achieve a real goal. So when a company decides to go agile, that's not a good idea. And that's why, a lot of agile transformations fail. What you need to do is figure out what your business goals are and then understand that agile is a strategy to help you achieve those business goals. So I am not an agile coach. I'm a business agility coach. I'm a business coach. I'm a business consultant. I help businesses figure out their biggest goals or their biggest obstacles, and I help them overcome them using plays out of the agile book, right? That's what agile is about. It's a strategy, not a goal of its own. And your leaders need to understand that if they're ever going to be successful with agile. Um, so when someone tells me that agile is their goal, I say, actually, that's a strategy. Can you help me understand your current business landscape? And I also have a strategy workshop, which I can run to help them figure that out if they haven't done it before. Now, a lot of people measure agile adoption. SAFe has all these radiators. And the question is, should you measure agile adoption? Yes, it's a leading indicator, but it is not the goal. What we need to measure is the goal, and are we getting to that goal? As a leading indicator, however, adoption can be great because if you don't measure adoption, then when your goals are not achieved, you can't be sure they weren't achieved because you didn't do agile, or if they weren't achieved and you did agile and they still weren't achieved, right? That's a very big difference, and you need to understand that. So you need to measure the adoption. Here's a graph that I've used that shows skill growth, agile skills growing across all kinds of individuals. Kind of fun way to do it. And then and then the goal itself needs to have metrics, and those metrics are the lagging indicators. It's going to take a lot longer for your goal metrics to move, but if your adoption metrics aren't moving, don't expect your goal metrics to move. So measure both. Now I have two different systems I use for measuring. For my product health, I use KPIs like a lot of people, right? I use KPIs for the product, but I categorize that into an acronym called EQIP, EQPP. I do another video around EQIP, but basically it's what is the engagement in your product? What is the quality of your product? How much does it cost you, or how much time does it take, productivity, to produce your product? And how often are you able to hit your targets, predictability? So those are my four product KPIs. On the other hand, I have my OKRs. My OKRs are objectives. In other words, what are we trying to do? So, in other words, the product has the KPIs, the agile transformation would increase or decrease those KPIs. And you can see I have a separate system called IDEEM. I have a video for that as well. And it's increase, decrease something of value, enable something that we couldn't do before, or eliminate something that we shouldn't be doing. And maintain is a tricky one. You only use maintain when there's something you don't want to mess up in the process of achieving a goal. And by the way, if you use enable, eliminate, either of those, that's great. But once you enable or eliminate that, I'm going to ask the question, okay, but now that it's enabled or eliminated, what would that increase or decrease that's of business value? So in the end, you must have at least one increase or decrease statement. Enables and eliminates tend to be leading indicators. And maintain is just to make sure we don't mess things up too badly. Okay. Um, so in addition to all this, in SAFe, in the Scaled Agile framework, they talk about the tipping point to really adopt their flavor of Agile, their Scaled Agile. But the tipping point makes sense no matter what flavor of Agile you're doing. And they categorize it as either you have a burning platform or you're embracing visionary leadership. So burning platforms, those are automatically motivating. If your company has a burning platform, people want to look at the picture here. People want to jump off the oil rig into the water before they get burned, right? So people are ready to try anything when there's a burning platform. So agile transformations tend to be very successful there because at least it's a strategy with very specific rules and outcomes. On the other hand, visionary leadership can be a lot harder to motivate people to do unless you do it really well. So you need to first share that vision. You need to then connect how the agile strategy will accelerate that vision. And then you need to link that strategy to your powerful business goals. And again, I have that strategy workshop that can help you come up with those business goals. And if you do this really well, then visionary leadership can be just as motivating as a burning platform. But you have to connect the agile transformation to your business goals as a strategy. Okay. My clock went off. I only have one slide left, so I think I'll be able to wrap this up pretty quickly. I'll go ahead and restart the timer just in case, though. Oops. Just needed to hit restart. And here we go. Okay. So the two big reasons to adopt Agile, burning platform visionary leadership, make sure that those are well communicated. If you're familiar with the change model called ADKAR, ADKAR, D is desire in ADKAR, but before desire, you need awareness, and awareness is tied to metrics. Hopefully, business goal metrics that are very compelling and exciting. So when people don't seem to have desire, often it's because you have not produced compelling metrics in awareness, and so we can fix that. All right, my last slide here. Is the era of Agile over? So this comes up a lot. People are laying off Scrum Masters, right? Coaches are having a hard time finding gigs lately. Is the era of Agile over? So what needs to come to an end is the era of companies adopting Agile for Agile's sake. That's been the game for many of my customers. They're just adopting Agile for Agile's sake. It has nothing to do with business drivers, business goals, business obstacles, risks that they're trying to get around. That has to end. No more Agile for Agile's sake. That was never a good idea to begin with. Instead, we need to begin in earnest the next era, which is using Agile as a strategy, right? So I have a business goal. I will use Agile as a strategy. I have a burning platform. I need to navigate it. I'll use Agile as a strategy. I need to achieve a visionary leadership play. Okay, I can use Agile to achieve that. I need to respond to market changes faster than my competition. Great, I can use Agile to achieve that, right? So you need to come up with the thing you're trying to do now. Use Agile to achieve those goals, and you won't believe how effective that is and how much more rewarding that is than just adopting Agile. Also, three other things to think about. One is many managers don't have a decent operating model. We can use Agile as an operating model for managers. In other words, your managers should be on Agile teams. They should be using Jira or ADO, whatever your company uses. It's not hard. Those tools are not hard to use. ADO is my favorite if you have a choice. It's because it's the easiest one to get started. And they should have stand-up meetings. They should be swarming on problems together. They shouldn't be measured on how each department is doing. They should be measured on as a whole. And if any one department is not doing well, they're all measured on that. So they swarm it and get that one caught up. That spirit of collaboration. That's what Agile management teams would look like. And that basically your org chart, and I have another video on how it's called organizational agility, how you can turn your org chart into Agile teams with product managers and business owners. Really exciting. The next, leaders need to inspire by visibly living the Agile culture. I have so many leaders that are command and control. I have organizations that are full of fear. I literally have asked, hey, does the CIO have an Agile coach? And the answer is no. And I go, okay, cool. Can we ask her if she would like one? And they were like, I'm not asking that. No way. They're literally afraid to ask the CIO if she would like an Agile coach on cadence, half an hour a week or a fortnight. That's not okay, right? Our leaders must embrace the Agile culture for real, much more so than the practitioners. The practitioners is what we've been targeting this whole time. Everybody follows the leaders. So leaders need to lead by example here. Finally, some of the most exciting things is global agility. I have a separate video on global agility that you can check out where we're using Agile to solve the world's biggest problems. So things like water shortages in Ecuador, right? Or a vice president who wanted an Agilist to be, I'm sorry, a president who wanted an Agilist to be a vice president, like, and use Agile to help them run the country, right? Like amazing things like this, the biggest problems of the world. That's a problem. Fixing those problems is a goal. Agile can be a strategy to help us achieve those goals as well. So there you have it. The era of Agile is not over, but the era of using Agile for Agile's sake needs to end, and using Agile to achieve major difficult goals as a strategy, that needs to be the focus going forward. So there you go. That's my my take on if your goal is Agile, you've already failed. And thank you for watching. I'll stop my recording. Stop share. And all right. Bye, everybody.